I believe we all need to become is a local interest media movement. Because if we don't share uh, our news of solutions on media, um, we're really not going to be able to reach the amount of people. Now, Ron did a little research on Gary Vaynerchuk and interest media. So, Ron, could you share a little bit about what you found about how social media is dead and what Gary Vaynerchuk said about interest media?
Well, I think the idea that social media is dead, it doesn't mean that it's totally dead. What it means is the normal way that people have been using social media is, they'll see who you're following, and then they'll start, sending you different articles or pieces of information or marketing. But the other side is, so the big switch is to interest-based media using social media, which basically is much more personalized to your personal interests rather than who you are following. That's just a high level summary of my understanding.
I think I agree with you. Gary Vaynerchuk is the one that used the statement social media is dead. And I think it was an attention-getting device because, like Ron said, it's really a shift. Social media,
Right.
as we know it, is dead, but it's a shift to interest media, especially local interest media. That's why I think what we really need to focus on becoming is media movement makers because we need to be sharing our solutions, local networking solutions, etc., through the media in order to get the word out. So what I'd like to do, guys, today uh, is to use your feedback uh, with my application for the Startup World Cup because I have developed a strategy and been working on a strategy to win the $1 million World Cup prize. That's I'm going for it. I'm not going to do it halfway. I really want to go with the attitude of winning, and I think there's a way to do it. I do want to share with you. Let me pull it up here real quick. Why I think it's doable and why I think we are the guys that can have the vision to make it happen. So let me just share this about the mentors that are available already to all of us in the Startup World Cup. So let me share this. Okay, here is the Startup World Cup site, and there's a lot of things on here. I'm going to be involved with it from press as a volunteer, or you guys can become mentors. You can apply to be a mentor, and here's what they're looking for. They're seeking and establish a robust network of hundreds of experienced, dedicated mentors from around the world. Mentors support the Startup World Cup ecosystem, providing guidance, insight, connections, and expertise to entrepreneurs, investors, and the ecosystem participants. So here are the mentors listed, and many of them have their email right there. So you can reach out directly to any mentor and talk about your movement, about the Startup World Cup, and the strategy to win it. That's what I want to be talking about. So I will put the link. Well, you can just go to it. It's the startupworldcup.io, just so you guys have it. Startupworldcup.io. Real simple. And it's there. So that being said, next I'm going to share today's video. And what I really like you guys to do is to work with me as though you were panelists on Shark Tank, because there are many, many speakers from Shark Tank that are speakers at the Startup World Cup. So that's what I'd like to use your expertise to fine tune my pitch because I haven't done the official entry yet. I've been preparing to do it, but I wanted to get you guys feedback first. So let me share the video and then you know the drill. You'll take notes and today I really like to put me on the hot seat about this strategy. Really ask me all the tough questions that you can think of that you want to know, or where you think there are, you know, holes in my strategy or my thinking. But let me just share this with you. I think it'll tell the story pretty well. Hello, I'm Mike Hayes, editor-in-chief of the AI Super Campus of mini books and time-saving summaries called Mike's Notes on AI subjects, stories, and tools. Now, to explain more about today's mini book subject, here's my personal AI publicity agent.
All right, welcome to this explainer. We're jumping right in today because we're looking at a pitch deck that literally blew my mind. It's from the AI Super Campus, built for the Startup World Cup, and it completely reframes how we should be looking at the AI frontier. I mean, we're going to break down their entire strategy for tackling a massive global threat and, more importantly, how they present a scalable business model as the ultimate defense system. So let's deconstruct this thing and see exactly how they pull it off. So right off the bat, they hit you with this absolutely stark statistic. 99%, meaning 99% of the world is completely, and I mean literally completely, unprepared for the rising tide of AI. It's wild to think about, right? We're living through this incredibly volatile technological shift, and yet almost the entire global population is just sitting there, totally exposed. Okay, let's dive into this. Right out of the gate, the AI Super Campus positions itself as the defense system built to protect that remaining 100%. The executive summary here is bold. They aren't just sketching out a plan to teach people how to use a new chatbot. No, they're building an educational platform and methodology to help humanity actually survive it, master it, and build sustainable enterprises that don't just flash and fade, but actually endure. It sets the stakes sky high right from minute one. Now, you might be wondering, why do we need this massive defense? Well, they define the core problem as a devastating double threat. Imagine a collision happening in real time. On one side, we have this rapid rise in automated digital crime. And on the exact opposite side, we have what they coined the startup backslide. You know the story. High-energy startups launch, they've got brilliant momentum, but eventually they backslide and just self-destruct. Today, though, that failure rate is becoming a full-blown epidemic because founders are rushing to integrate unvetted AI without any foundational safety whatsoever. So you mix unprotected speed with automated threats and bam, total operational collapse. To really get why this matters, we have to talk about the villain of this story, the Super AI Mafia. And let me be clear, this is not your old-school basement-dwelling hacker. We're talking about automated, highly organized digital crime syndicates. They're deploying synthetic media, like cloning a loved one's voice from a totally innocent 3-second social media clip, and spinning up deepfakes and hyper-personalized scams on an industrial scale. This is a synthetic threat actively targeting our families, our local businesses, and our communities, all while the rest of the world is, frankly, just distracted by the hype of how fast AI can write an email. So, what's really interesting about this slide is their solution, a dual-engine model. Think of it like two gears turning together. You've got your defense, what they call AI Reasonability. This is all about gaining absolute control over media so you can spot and defend against AI deception. Then you have the offense gear, Startup Marketability. This channels all that wild, creative startup energy into secure, robust economic philosophy. By embedding that AI reasonability right into the DNA of the entrepreneur, they actually present those structural backslides we were just talking about. To power this whole defense mechanism, they introduce a proprietary framework they call the Firewall of Human Sovereignty. And the core argument here is actually incredibly profound. It's the idea that the only true, foolproof defense against advanced automated AI deception isn't actually better software. It's human cognitive awareness. You literally cannot outcompute an automated syndicate, but you can out-reason it. They break this cognitive defense down into 4 really digestible pillars. First up, human perception. This is our ability to look at digital media objectively and cut through synthetic manipulation. Second is human reasoning, which is critically evaluating automated outputs so we don't fall for panic-inducing deepfakes. Third is human imagination. Think about it. Visualizing creative, ethical alternatives is something algorithms simply cannot do. And finally, the 4th pillar, human action. Taking decisive steps to actually secure and protect what matters. These 4 uniquely human pillars form a structural safety net. It essentially turns human awareness into humanity's ultimate defense system.
Hi again, everyone. It's Mike Hayes. Sorry for this quick interruption. It never hurts to ask. So please, please, please share life-saving posts just like this one with your family and friends, because remember, the family you save may be your own. Now back to the podcast.
Of course, a theoretical framework is totally useless without a scalable business model, right? So let's move to and see how this builds outward. Their go-to-market strategy uses a methodology they call the compass. It's designed to scale exponentially by securing individual nodes in a massive network, completely avoiding the need for some huge, slow, centralized corporate overhead. The engine driving the scale is actually modeled after the CrossFit Train the Trainer framework. It works in 3 quick steps. Step 1, high-intensity deep dive boot camps entirely focused on AI reasonability. Step 2 is rapid local deployment. Those newly certified advocates go straight back into their own ecosystems to secure their local businesses and families. And step 3 is where the magic happens, organic network effects. One secured business suddenly protects an entire community. They aren't trying to manually teach every single person on Earth themselves. They're training the trainers who will go back and shield their own neighborhoods like a shield wall. Now, putting on my VC pitch coach hat for a second, when it comes to competitive advantage, this pitch draws a massive line in the sand. Look at the broader market. You have all these other startups at the World Cup pitching tools that just accelerate AI output. Tools that, ironically, feed the digital chaos and heavily increase the risk of that startup backslide. The AI Supercampus positions itself as literally the only competitor building the structural safety net underneath it all. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between the noise and the signal. Where everybody else is obsessing over short-term AI speed and automation, which we know creates more risk, the AI Supercampus is playing the long game. They're focused on long-term human resilience. They're building a timeless cognitive defense to secure the entire market. They aren't just pitching a business here, folks. They are effectively pitching the ultimate insurance policy for the entire startup ecosystem. As the presentation peaks, it zeroes in on their ultimate vision, which is shifting our global paradigm from pre-tipping point volatility to post-tipping point stability. They want to move us away from this incoming wave of digital destruction and pivot toward global stability through active, conscious construction. But obviously, the big question is, how on earth do you actually achieve that kind of stability against an automated global mafia? The answer? 25%. That's the magic number. Social science has actually proven time and time again that we do not need 100% adoption to permanently alter the direction of a crowd. If just one quarter, 25% of the global population achieves true AI reasonability, we hit a critical tipping point. At that point, the human network becomes so incredibly alert and resilient that the automated algorithms of the Super AI Mafia simply can't find a foothold anymore. Finally, they conclude with this beautifully counterintuitive approach to startup competition. Why we must win to share. We all know the startup world, right? Founders are usually super secretive, totally terrified of someone stealing their IP. But the AI Super Campus flips the script entirely. They just flat out declare that in the battle against automated AI crime, public safety has to be a collective effort. It's not some secret framework to be locked in a vault. It's a movement. It relies on radical collaboration with competitors, mentors, and local communities alike. So, the crucial point is captured right here in this final thought. The family, the business, or the community you save from true AI crime may be your own. Talk about a mic drop. It takes this whole presentation out of the abstract world of venture capital and puts the sticks directly into our own hands. Because in this wild AI frontier, the only way any of us survive and thrive is if we secure it together. So I'll leave you with this. What steps are you going to take today to ensure your community achieves AI reasonability before the tide reaches your front door?
I'm Mike Hughes Hayes, Editor-in-Chief of the AI Supercampus, and I approve this message. There we have it. That's my pitch, guys, and I'd love to have you shoot it apart or ask me any questions that you want about it, and I'll be happy to explain my thinking.
You want to go first, Ron, or should I?
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, in the beginning, you were saying about how everything was infiltrating from the country, scams and this and that. What you neglected to say, it's really coming from other countries, from Russia, from China, from all these other countries, that they literally have classes on how to scam Americans. And it's really important to say that not only are we being scammed from within, but we're being scammed from everywhere else.
Thank you. That's
The
great feedback.
the other aspect is you're talking about AI and all the pillars and everything. One thing you didn't mention was emotion. One thing that AI can't really do that you have to bring yourself is the emotion. And that was the only part that I saw that was lacking in that section. Last but not least, You were saying you have to be the shield for your community and everything else, but you didn't quite bring it to the point of individual. You have, as an individual, you have to start protecting yourself. If you start protecting yourself as an individual, then it will bleed out to your community, and it kind of works both ways. It's really nice, right? So those are only three things.
Great. It's what you're saying is a little bit like the air mask metaphor when you're on the plane. If the air mask drop, put your own air mask on first, and then you can help other people. So that's something.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Thank you for all this great feedback, especially the one I really, really super love the one that we're being attacked from outside. And it really is the Russian mob, it is African mobs, it is Cambodia, who are not only teaching classes, but get this, they are recruiting cyber criminals to come to Cambodia with the lure of having a bank that will launder illicit funds. Then once you get there, you're essentially a prisoner. Now you work for them. They won't let you go. They're doing crimes against the criminals as well. That's the extent of this outside attack that we in America, because everybody wants to market to America. Well, the AI super mafia, because I call it super mafia because super intelligence is coming with artificial general intelligence. So we have to prepare for what's here, artificial intelligence, in order to get ready for artificial general intelligence or super intelligence, which is right around the corner. So these are all great, great tips and things that I need to prepare for the venture capitalists and the mentors, because I plan to network with many, many mentors in the Startup World Cup. The other thing is, just like the World Cup, they build teams to win the World Cup. They don't go there to play around. They go to win, to compete and you have to have a team that collaborates together. So even if we don't win the $1 million this year, because the AI Super Campus is come for a day, stay for a lifetime, is in it for a lifetime. So I'm looking ahead at next year and the year after and fine tuning it until we do get to that full cup win of the $1 million. But in the meantime, we win with the mentors and everything we learn from networking and what we learn from the mentors and sharing media, because that's what it's all about. If we don't share, what I would like to ask you guys to think about doing is starting your own Substack. I started a second Substack publication today with the AI Super Campus. This one is called True AI Crime. I have started that and I'm going to be concentrating on true AI crimes and using AI reasonability to overcome the true AI crime. So I'm going to have problem and solution to be able to share those, but the sharing is the way we build the human firewall of protection one by one. So Michael gave great feedback, Ron. So your comments, please.
Well, one thing that struck me regarding the competition in the AI, the Startup World Cup, is positioning yourself at a higher level in terms of what you're proposing as a competitor. As you look at these AI startups, maybe they may be thinking about a niche area to use AI for dot 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 whatever. But the AI Super Campus, we're spreading a broader message in terms of a solution that addresses this larger issue, the AI Super Mafia international collaboration against whoever, whichever, wherever they reside. So I think that positioning sets you apart from the other startup competitors, not necessarily even startup competitors, but even established. One thing too is I was watching and listening to the presentation, and it was almost like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Yeah.
I think the slides have a lot of excellent content. It's like the good news, the bad news. They've got a lot of excellent detailed content, and they have a lot of excellent detailed content. So it's hard to really take in. Because I was trying, and also too, I think if you could slow down the audio, that might help. Because in addition to having
Just a little
large
bit.
fonts on emails and posts, maybe having a little bit slower Some people may need hearing devices, seniors especially. And I could hear it fine, but just the pacing was pretty rapid. And then one term, I didn't quite understand what the backslide meant. And it sounds like
Okay.
it's an important part of the message.
One of the things that I put out on Substack is how to drive your media. And I talk about consuming media. You're not just consuming media, you are controlling the media. You have complete control of the media. In other words, you can slow it down. You can set the speed. That's in your control. What I recommend to people is have your finger on the pause button. I get it. I can't determine how everybody wants to learn. So I put a coaching about how to drive media at your own pace, how to use it. Don't go past a word that you don't understand, or it will stop sinking in. So you really need to stop the video because you have control of it. You can go to the dashboard and set the speed, set it to 80%. Everybody who internationally around the world has control of the media. That's part of the learning curve of learning the media arts and how to use it and how to be in control. So that's one thing, is to understand that not me, but you are in control of how fast you want it or slow. Oh, the backslide. So let me tell you one story after the next. This is so important. Give you a great example of why AI reasonability is vital. What happened was, and the reason I love the story, and I have multiple stories about this real quick, but I'll give you a couple of backslide stories. Steve Glassman was the founder of CrossFit. The reason I love this model is because with no venture capital and with no business plan, he started one outfit in Santa Cruz, California, and he made it successful. So then he gave a license to somebody else that started a second one, and then a third one, and then a fourth one, and then a fifth one. And he grew it organically, box by box, as they call it. Then what happened was the backslide was one day during the pandemic, the founder, Steve Glassman, backslid. And what he did out of his own frustration, he put one single unreasonable post out on social media that involved Black people. It wasn't reasonable to put that out. 1,200 affiliates were unforgiving. And they bailed, said they're quitting, want nothing to do with him. They forced him to sell the company that was worth billions. He sold it for $200 million. So he had a huge financial windfall, but he lost the thing he most loved, and that was his company. So that was a backslide from a lack of reasonability. And that's what startups most hate. A couple other stories. Steve Jobs was kicked out of Apple because of a lack of reasonability in the current board of Apple, and they kicked him out of Apple. And it reduced the value of Apple stock down to $2. So they recovered from that and they got back on their feet. They brought Jobs back in. But then where Jobs did an unreasonable thing, he developed a cancer and he ignored the surgery that he could have had to save his life and instead thought he could rely on holistic and just individual solutions rather than cutting open his body. So he backslid with a lack of reasoning to his death. Okay. And so that was a dramatic backslide in the management of a company. Another one, and there's so many in so many stories in startups of backsliding from a huge burst of success with entrepreneurial energy, but then losing it all like a trap door of almost instant destruction. A client of mine had spent $100,000 trying to promote his product that he was calling a cleaner. And I've told this story before, complete failure because of a lack of reasonability. His story just didn't make any sense to anybody. He was asking people to pay $20 for a cleaner. And when I helped him learn about reasoning and describe it as a tile and grout restore, we took it to a $200 million success. So basically, there's so many stories about ups and downs in startups. And one of the things that AI reasonability can do is to help people prevent those backslides that are so devastating and prevent people from attaining venture capital or sustaining their success. And that's what venture capitalists needs. And that's what I want to do with the AI Super Campus in a human-centric way that makes the Super Campus the most sustainable company on the planet, ideally. That's kind of the vision.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've always wanted to follow the model of CrossFit. It's a brilliant model.
Well, I
It,
think the the trainer model, is a good example also.
yeah. The problem is that I'm trying to be very careful of is they're very litigious about the name CrossFit. They have 30 attorneys on staff, but it's just a
Um,
model. We're not associated with them. But there's a lot of great learning curves that you can learn from l- practicing a model or looking at a model or modeling after a proven success story.
One thing too about the video, I like the idea of controlling the speed. If you actually made the default speed a little slower, because if I go to YouTube, sometimes I go to 1.5 or even 2x. So, I'll start at the original speed, but then I'll speed it up, when I want to go faster. So
Okay,
that,
let me comment on that too, Ron. These are things that need to be discussed. This is the standard speed that Google has determined. I didn't put the speed of the video. Google created the video in that speed. I edited the video, but I didn't speed it up. That is the standard speed that Google chose as the standard. I do know that people can learn 25% faster than they think they can just by listening like osmosis. They are taking more in than they actually realize. So I think what Google has done with that speed is create the standard as that. But I also think that people should have the ability to control the speed of
right.
their own video. So I just went create this video, and that what they put out, which I did edit and added some stuff to, but they put it out at that speed. One final thing I will tell you guys, and I don't know if this is over the top, but I'm basically a simple, generic Christian. I went to 12 years of Catholic school, and I wasn't a very good Christian. I was a pretty wild child. So I said to my mom one day, "Mom, I'm becoming a Buddhist so that I can become a better Christian because I'm candidly not a very good Christian." And so I used Buddhism, which was based on two things: the human revolution of personal happiness to achieve world peace. So I also think that AI reasonability, once it gets picked up by movements like SGI Buddhism or different groups, that's when we can do the tipping point of personal happiness and world peace as the ultimate prize of what I think we can achieve with AI reasonability. Now, I don't know if that's taking it too far to AI reasonability and world peace, but that is something that I believe in. And that's why I became a Buddhist, was to become happier and to help the world achieve world peace.
Well, one comment about that, that perspective, what could actually attract people who are not really interested in the cash reward, right? Just in positioning the AI super campuses, hey, we're not just we want to create a revolution for the benefit of humanity, you might say. So that alone, positions the AI super campus differently than these other competitors who are focusing on the technology itself. But how is the technology going to benefit mankind, you might say,
Right.
or world peace? So I think, that framing or positioning of the AI super campus can really attract people who can buy into that vision and want to participate.
What's your take on that, Michael?
I'm thinking long and hard. When you said you're practicing being a Buddhist to be a better Christian, you're looking at it from outside Christianity. And you can look at it a lot better than when you're looking at it from within. Because when you just look at it from within, you kind of are given tunnel vision and say, look, this is what you have to practice, this is what you have to believe. And like, well, not all of it. So you're looking at it from the outside and saying, look, I firmly believe in all of this, but also there's a point of inner peace, I'll say. that you can bring to yourself. And when you're at peace with yourself, you can then promote it to others. That's the best way that I can
I love that, Michael. Inner
describe it.
peace to world peace. It really is pretty simple because I've helped so many people achieve inner peace in very rough relationships by teaching them AI reasonability. Look, vent into your AI. Ask it for a reasonable solution to the problem you're having with this person or that person or this person. Put it into AI and ask for a reasonable answer. In fact, I even say to my AI, using your AI reasonability, Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, help me find the most reasonable solution for this problem so that I can achieve inner peace in this relationship. And I love those. The relationship is simple, inner peace to world peace. Enough people who achieve inner peace, we're going to naturally achieve world peace. So thank you for that input. That's fine tuning is what it's all about, right?
What it's all
And we can
about.
all,
Yeah.
this is how we can all help each other. All right, guys, that's it. This is me thanking you for your help with my launch to the Startup World Cup. I'm gonna be on a mission to win it one day with the very best team that I can accumulate. But I also think that we are primarily a media movement. I say that again. So it's not just about who shows up here. It's about sharing, even if you can't show up or you don't show up. You can be a big, very important part of this movement if you will just share either the AI Super Campus on Substack or True AI Crime Prevention on Substack. Because again, the people you save, the company you save, or the community you save may be your own. So I hope we can make it make sense to people like that.
Absolutely. I look forward to these meetings every Friday. I love them.
All right, great. I appreciate that very much, Michael. Thank you. And I know Ron does
Okay.
because he's always there. So, all right, thanks, guys.
Okay, have a
All
great
right.
weekend.
I'll see you next week. All right.
Yeah, look forward to your update.